네, 안녕하십니까. 영어 섀도잉 134일차 연습 시작하겠습니다. 네, 먼저 아놀드 슈워제네거 영상부터 따라해 보도록 하겠습니다.
I'm here to talk about success.
I'm here to talk about success.
Work your ass off.
Work your ass off.
I hate
Plan
plan
B.
B. Don't listen
Don't
to the
listen to the
naysayers.
naysayers.
Everything I ever did,
Everything I ever did.
the thing that I
The
heard
thing
out
that
of
I
people's
heard
mouth was, that's
people's
impossible.
mouths was that's impossible.
That can't be
That
done.
can't be done.
Or no.
Or no.
And I didn't listen to those
I
losers.
didn't listen to those losers.
I didn't listen
I
to them at
didn't
all.
listen to them at all.
If I would have listened to the
If I would have listened to the
naysayers,
naysayers,
from
from
bodybuilding to show business
to
to
politics,
I would not be
I
standing
would
here
not be
today.
standing here today
Talking to you.
to you.
I would be in Austria
I'd
in
be
the
in
Alps,
Austria
yodeling.
in the Alps, yodeling.
So when someone says
When
no,
someone
this is
says no,
a
this is a stupid idea,
you in your mind, you
you in
don't
your
have to
mind, you
say
don't
it.
have to say
Fuck
it, but your mind
you're an
just say
asshole.
this. Fuck you, and
What do you know?
you're an asshole. What do you know?
With the age of 20, London, I
with the age of 20, with the age of 20, I went to London and won the Mr. Universe contest.
as the youngest Mr. Age of With the age of 20, I went to London.
With the age of 20, I went to London. With the age of 20, I went to London
And I won the Mr. Universe contest
and I won the Mr. Universe contest
as the youngest
as the
Mr. Universe
youngest
ever.
Mr. Universe ever.
And it was because,
It was because I had a goal.
You see, if you don't
You see, if you don't have a vision of where you're going, if you don't have a goal where you go, you drift around and you never end up anywhere.
you got to have a purpose.
No matter what you do in life, you got to have a purpose. Have a vision. Work your ass off.
There
There is no magic pill. Muhammad Ali worked his butt off.
and I saw it
And I
firsthand.
saw it firsthand.
And I remember that
there was a sports writer
that was there in the gym.
and he was in the gym. He was working hours, he was doing sit-ups. And he asked him, how many sit-ups do you do? And he said, I don't start counting until it hurts.
But think about that.
Now think about that. He doesn't start counting his sit-ups until he feels pain.
That's when he starts
That's
counting.
when he starts counting.
That
That
is
is working hard.
I went to
I
college.
went to college. I went and worked out 5 hours a day.
And I was
And
working
I,
in
and I
construction.
was working in construction because in those days in bodybuilding there's no money.
I didn't have the money
Didn't
for food supplements.
have
or
the money
anything.
for food supplements
So
or
I had to go
anything.
to work.
So I had to go to
So I
work.
worked in construction.
So I worked in construction. I went to college. I worked out in the gym and at night from 8 o'clock at night to 12 midnight. I went to acting class 4 times a week.
So I did
I
all
said that,
that.
yes, I did all
There was
that.
not one
There was no,
single minute that
there
I
wasn't,
wasted.
there wasn't one single minute that
This is why
I
I'm standing
wasted.
here today.
This,
And it drives me. And this is why I'm standing here today.
this is why I'm
And
standing
it
here
drives me
today.
crazy when people say they don't have enough
And it drives me
time
crazy when people say they don't have enough time
to the gym
to improve,
for 45
to go to the gym for 45
Minutes a day and
minutes
work
a
out.
day and work out.
or to do
Or to do something for 45 minutes
to
to-
improve.
To an hour a day to improve.
If
If it is physically improved or if it is mentally improved.
Imagine you
Imagine you read 1 hour a day
about history.
about history. How much you will learn after 365 hours
in 1 year.
in 1 year.
With
With
24
24
hours
hours a day.
we sleep
We
6
sleep
hours
6
a day.
hours a day.
So it gives you
So
still
it gives you still
18
18 hours.
There's someone shaking
So
their head out
there's
there.
someone shaking head out. There's someone shaking head out. There's someone shaking head out here. Someone shaking head out here. important to say publicly.
I don't sleep 6
I don't
hours,
sleep
I sleep
6
8
hours.
hours, right?
I sleep 8 hours, right?
Or just sleep
Or
faster.
just sleep
But
faster.
you can see how
But
much
you can
time there is
see
available.
how much time is available. But you can see how much time there is available
If you organize
if you
your day.
organize your day.
So you got to work
So you got to
hard.
work hard.
You get it?
You get it?
Work like hell.
Work like
Go
hell.
to bed.
Go to bed.
Early
Only,
to rise.
only you
Work like hell
rise.
and
Work like hell.
advertise. So you work your
Advertise.
ass
So
off.
you work
And
your
then
ass
you
off,
let
and
the
then
world
you let the
know
world
about your work.
know about your work.
That's what it is all
That's
about.
what it is all about.
Let people know
Let
if you
people
have a
know. If you have a
company,
movie,
if you
if you
do
do
a
a
sports.
sports,
Work your
work
ass
your
off,
ass
but then
off, but then
advertise and let everyone know.
advertise. Let everyone know.
You have so many
You
of
have so many
those
of
people
people
that
that
say,
say,
no, you
no,
can't
you
do it,
can't
it's
do it,
impossible.
it's impossible.
That is okay
That is
because
okay.
we just turn off.
We just
When
turn
you
off.
start doubting yourself,
When you start doubting
that's
yourself,
very dangerous.
that's very dangerous.
Because now what
Because
you're basically saying is that if
now
my
you are you
plan,
are now what you are now what you are basically saying is that
because now what you're basically saying is that
now what you're basically saying is that now what you are basically saying is that
if my plan
if
doesn't
my
work,
plan doesn't work,
I
I
have
have
a
a
fallback
fallback
plan.
plan.
I have a plan B.
I have a plan B.
That means that
That
you start
means
thinking about plan
that
B,
means you start thinking about plan B,
and every thought
and every
that you
thought
put
that
into
you
plan
put into plan
B,
B,
you're taking away now that
you're taking away now that
thought and that energy from
you
plan.
you're taking away now that thought and the energy from plan A.
It's very
It's
important
very important
to understand that we
to
function
understand that we function
if there
better
is no
if there is
safety
no
net.
safety net.
Because plan
Because
B becomes a
plan
safety
B
net. It says
because plan B becomes safety
that
net,
if I fail,
and it says if I fail,
then I
then I
fall,
fall,
and I
and
get
I
picked up
get
and have something else there.
and I get picked up, and I have something else there that will protect me.
And that's not good.
That's not good.
I'm telling you,
I've
I've never
ever
had a plan B.
had a plan B.
I said I made a full commitment that I'm gonna go and be a bodybuilding champion.
I made a full commitment that I'm gonna be in America. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna get into show business. I'm going to be a leader man no matter what it takes. No matter what it takes, I will do the work. I will do the work over and over and over and over again.
To me,
Until I get. To me, it is very dangerous to have a plan B because you're cutting yourself off from the chance of really succeeding. One of the main reasons why people want to have a plan B is
the main reasons why people
want
want
to
to have
have
a
a
plan B is
want to have a plan B is
because
because they're worried about failing.
What is if I fail,
Then I don't have anything else? What is if I fail then I don't have anything else?
Let me
Let me tell you something. Don't be afraid of failing because there's nothing wrong with failing. You have to fail in order to climb the ladder. There is no one that doesn't fail. There is no one that doesn't fail.
We all fail.
We all fail.
It's okay.
What
What
is
is
not
not
okay
okay
is
is
when you
when you fail,
fail and stay down. Whoever stays down is a loser.
and
And winners will fail and get up. Fail and get up. Fail and get up. You always get up. That is a winner. That is a winner. I failed in bodybuilding. I lost the bodybuilding competitions. I lost the powerlifting competitions. I lost the weightlifting competitions. I had movies that went into toilet that were terrible. They got the worst reviews. Hey, we all lose. We all have losses. This is okay. This is why I'm saying don't be worried about losing because be worried about losing. Because when you're afraid of losing, then you can force it. Because when you're afraid of losing, then you can force it. You get frozen. You get stiff. You get stiff when you're not relaxed. in order to be in order to be in order to be in in order to be 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 order to in order to in order to be in order to perform well in anything else in order to perform well in anything if it is in boxing or in order to perform well in anything else if it is if it is in if is if it is if it is if it is in boxing or if it is in your thinking if it is in talking if it is in your job or with your thinking it's only happening when you relax so relax it's okay to fail let's just go all out and give it everything you've got it's all out let's just go all out and give it everything you've got that's what it's all about so don't be afraid to fail 네 잘 들었습니다 네, 오늘은 조금 더 발음에 집중해서 조금 어색했던 부분들을 조금 더 잘 찾아서 학습을 했던 것 같습니다. 자, 다음은 오바마 영상 한번 이번 자막을 좀 보면서 학습을 해보겠습니다.
정말 어디 가서 얘기하기 창피한데요. 영어에 저 진짜 돈 엄청 많이 썼습니다. 솔직히 말씀드리면 영어는 정말 초급은 아니잖아요.
But at the end of the day,
But at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, but at the end of the end of the day, but at the end of the day,
circumstances of your life,
the circumstances of your life,
what you look like,
what you look like,
where you come from, how much
where you come from, how much
money you have,
what
you've got going on at home,
what you got going on at home,
none of that is an excuse.
none of that is an excuse.
There is no excuse
There is no excuse
for not trying.
for not trying.
I've given a lot of speech.
I've given a lot of speeches, I've given a lot of speeches.
Just about education. And
I've given a lot of speeches about education.
I've talked about
Responsibility
a lot.
I've talked about responsibility a lot.
I've talked about teachers' responsibility
I've talked about teachers' responsibility
for inspiring students and
for inspiring students
pushing you to learn.
and pushing your luck. For inspiring students and pushing your luck.
I've talked about your parents' responsibility
I've talked about your parents' responsibility
for making sure you stay on track
for making sure you stay on track
and you get your homework done.
and you get your homework done. For making sure you stay on track and you get your homework done.
Don't spend every
And
waking hour in front of the
Don't spend every waking hour in
TV or and you get your homework done. Don't spend every waking hour in front of the TV or
front of the TV or
Xbox done. Don't spend every waking hour in front of the TV or
in front of the TV or
with the Xbox.
with the Xbox. With the Xbox.
Don't spend every waking hour in front of
Don't spend every waking hour. Don't spend every waking hour in front of the TV or
the
TV
TV
or
with the Xbox.
with the Xbox.
I've talked a lot about
I've talked a lot about
your government's responsibility
your government's responsibility
for setting high standards
for setting high standards
and supporting teachers and principals
and supporting teachers and principals
and turning around schools that aren't working,
and then turning around schools that are working
where students aren't getting the
where students are getting the opportunities
that they deserve. But in the
opportunities that they deserve where students are
turning around schools that aren't working, where
students aren't getting the opportunities that they deserve where students are getting the opportunities that they deserve where students are getting where students are getting the opportunities they deserve.
But at the end of the day,
But at the end of the
we can
day,
have the most dedicated
but at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, we can have the
teachers,
we can have the most dedicated teachers,
most supportive parents,
the most supportive parents, the most supportive
the
parents,
best schools in the world,
the best schools in the world,
and none of it
and
will
none
make
of it will make
a difference.
a difference.
None of it will matter
None of it will matter
unless all of you fulfill
unless all of you fulfill your
responsibilities.
responsibilities.
Unless you show up to those schools,
Unless you show up to those schools,
unless you pay attention
unless
to
you pay attention to those teachers, unless you listen to your parents and grandparents and other elders, and put in the hard work it takes to succeed. That's what I want to focus on today. The responsibility each of you has for your education. I want to start. I want to start with the. I want to start with the responsibility you have to yourself. Every single one of you has something that you're good. Every single one of you has something to offer. And you have a responsibility to yourself to discover what that is. That's the opportunity an education can provide. Maybe you could be a great writer. Maybe you're going to grow up to write a book or articles in newspaper, but you might not know it. Maybe you could be an innovator, inventor, maybe even good enough to come up with the next iPhone or the new medicine or vaccine. But you might not know it until you do a project for your science class. Maybe you could be a mayor or a senator or a Supreme Court justice. But you might not know, but you might not know that until you join the
government or a Supreme Court justice. But you might not know that
you
until
might not know that until you
you
join student government or debate team.
But you might not know that
Until
until
you join student government or the debate team or the debate team. And no matter when you do, no matter what you want to do with your life, I guarantee
that you'll need an education to do it.
that you'll need an education to do it.
You want to be a doctor,
a teacher, or police officer, you want to be a nurse or architect, or a lawyer, or a member of the military, you're gonna need a good education for every single one of those careers. 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 You cannot drop out of school and just drop into a good job. You got to train for it. You've got to train for it and work for it and learn for it. And this isn't just important for your own life and your own future.
This isn't just important for your own life and your own future.
Your own life and your own future. Your own life and your own future. And this isn't just important for your own life and your own future.
What you make
You
of
make
your
of your education will decide nothing less than the future of this country. The future of America depends on you. What you are learning in school today, what you are learning in school today will determine whether we as a nation can meet our greatest challenges in the future. You'll need the knowledge and problem-solving skills to learn science and math to cure diseases like cancer and AIDS, and to develop new energy and to
science and
math
to cure diseases like cancer and AIDS, and to develop new energy
and to develop new energy and to develop new energy
technologies
and to develop new energy technologies
protect our environment.
and protect our environment and to develop new energy technologies and protect our environment.
You'll need the
You need insights and critical thinking skills you gain in history and social studies to fight poverty and homelessness, crime and discrimination, make our nation more fair and more free. You'll need the creativity and ingenuity you develop in all your classes to build new companies that will create new jobs and boost our economy.
To build new companies. They'll create new jobs and boost
To build new that will create new jobs and
our economy.
boost our economy.
In all your classes to build new companies.
To build new companies.
They'll create new jobs.
Companies that will create new jobs
Boost our economy.
boost our economy. That will create new jobs and boost our economy. That will create new jobs and boost our economy.
We need every single one of you
To develop your talents, to develop your talents and your skills and your intellect, so you can help us
old folks
help
solve
us old folks solve our most difficult our most difficult problem, our most typical, our most difficult problems. So you can help us Orthodox solve our most difficult problems.
If you don't do
If you
that,
don't do that,
if you
if you
quit on
quit on
school,
school,
you're not just quitting on yourself,
you are not just quitting on yourself,
you're quitting on
you're
your country.
quitting on your
I know
country.
it's not always easy to
I
do
know it's not always easy to do
well in school.
well in school.
I know a lot of you have
challenges in your lives right now. They can make it hard to focus on your school.
I get it.
I know what it's like.
My father
like.
left.
I know
It can make
what
it
it's
hard
like.
to focus on your schoolwork.
I get it.
I get it. I know what it's
I know what it's
like.
what it's like.
My father left my
I
family
know what it's like. My father left my family when I was 2 years
I
old.
was raised by a single mom
I was raised by a single man
who had to work,
who had to work
struggled at times
and who struggled at times
to pay the
to
bills,
pay the
and
bills
wasn't always able to give us
and wasn't always able to give us
the things that
the
other
things
kids
that
had.
the other kids
There
had.
were times when I
There were
missed
times when I missed
having a father in my life.
having a father in my life.
There were
There were
times
times
when I
when
was lonely
I was lonely
and
and I felt like
so
I
I wasn't
didn't
always
fit
as
in.
focused as I should.
So I wasn't always as focused as I should have been in
I did
school.
some things that I'm
I
not
did something I'm not proud of.
fit in. So I wasn't always as focused as
So I was always as focused as I should
I
have
should
been in
have been on
school.
school.
I so I was always as focused as I should have been on school. So I was always as focused as I should have been on school.
And I did some things that I'm not
I did some things I'm not proud of,
proud of.
and
And I got in more
I got in more trouble
trouble than I should
than
have.
I should have.
And my
And my
life
life
could
could easily taken a turn for the
But
worse.
I
But
was
I was lucky.
I got a lot of second
I got a lot of second
chances.
chances,
And I had the opportunity to go to college,
and I had the opportunity to go out of college
law school,
and law
follow
school
my dreams.
and follow my dreams. My wife, First Lady of Michelle Obama, she had a similar story.
Neither
Neither
of her
her
parents
parents had gone to college,
and they didn't have a
and
lot
they
of
didn't
money.
have a lot of
But
money.
they
But
worked
they worked hard, and she worked hard
so that she could go
so that she could go to the best schools in this country.
Some of you might not have those advantages.
Some of you might not have those advantages. Some of you might not have those advantages.
Maybe you don't have
Maybe you don't have
adults in your life
adults in your life
who give you the support that you need.
who give you the support that you need.
Maybe someone in your family
Maybe someone in your family
has lost their job.
has lost their job and there's not enough money to go around.
Maybe you live in a
Neighborhood
neighborhood
where you don't feel safe
or have friends
who are pressuring you to do things you know aren't right. But at the end of the day, the circumstances of your life, what you look like, where you come from, how much money you have, what you got going on at home, none of that is an excuse for neglecting your homework or having a bad attitude in school.
None of that is
An
an
excuse
excuse for neglecting your homework or having a bad attitude
For neglecting your homework or having a bad attitude,
in school. On at home.
bad
None of
attitude,
that is
bad,
an excuse for neglecting your homework or having a bad attitude in school.
having a bad attitude in school.
That's
no excuse for talking back to your teacher or cutting class or dropping out of school. There is no excuse for not trying. Where you are right now doesn't have to determine where you will end up. Where you are right now doesn't have to determine where you will end up. No one's written your destiny for you. Because here in America, you write your own destiny. You make your own future. That's what young people like you are doing every day all across America. Young people like Jasmine Perez from Lubbock, Texas. Jasmine didn't speak English. Jasmine didn't speak English when she first started school. Neither of her parents had gone to college, but she worked hard, earned good grades, and got a scholarship to Brown University. Is now in graduate school studying public health on her way to becoming Dr. Jasmine Perez. I'm thinking about Andoni Schultz from Los Altos, California, who's fought brain cancer since he was 3. She's had to endure all sorts of treatments and surgeries. He's had to endure all sorts of treatments and surgeries, one of which affected his memory, so it took him much longer, hundreds of extra hours, to do his school. But he never fell behind. He's headed to college this fall. And then there's Chantel Spieth.
But he never fell behind. He's headed to college this fall.
He's headed to college this fall.
Then there's Chantel Steve
And then there's Chantel Steve from my hometown of Chicago, Illinois.
Even when bouncing from
Even when bouncing from foster home
home to foster home
to
in
foster home, the toughest
the
neighborhoods in the
she
city,
managed to get a
she
job
managed to get a job at a local healthcare center, start a program to keep young people out of gangs, and she's on track to graduate high school with honors. She's on track to she's on track to graduate high school with honors. To graduate high school with, she's on track to graduate high school with honors and go on to college. And Jasmine and Donnie and Chantel aren't any different from any of you. They face challenges in their lives just like you do. In some cases, they've got it a lot. They've got it a lot worse off. They've got it a lot worse off. They've got it a lot worse off. They've got it a lot worse off than many of you. But they refuse to give up. They chose to take responsibility for their lives, for their education, and set goals for themselves. And I expect all of you, all of you do the same. All of you do the same.
set goals for themselves. And I expect all of you to do the same.
All of you to do the same. All of you to do the same. And I expect all of you to do the same.
That's why today
That's
I'm
why.
calling on each of you
That's
to
why
set
today I'm calling on each of you to set your own goals through your education and do everything
But whatever
you
each of you to set your own goals for your education and do everything you can to meet them.
and do everything you can to meet them and do everything you can to meet them and do everything you can to meet them and do everything you can to meet them.
But whatever
But
you
whatever,
resolve to
but
do,
whatever you resolve to do,
I want you to commit
I
to
want
it.
you to commit to.
really
I
work
want
at
you to really
I
work
know that
it.
sometimes you get that sense from TV.
I know that sometimes you get the sense from TV that
I want you to commit to it. I want you to really work at it. I know that sometimes you get that sense from TV that you
I know that sometimes you get the sense from you get the sense you get the sense. I know that sometimes you get the sense from TV that
can be rich and successful
you
without
can be rich and successful
any hard work.
without any hard work.
Ticket to success is through
That
rapping,
your ticket to success is through rapping or basketball or being a reality TV
Chances
star.
are you're not going to be any of those things.
Chances are you are not gonna be you are not gonna be any of you are not gonna be any of those things. Any of those things. You are not gonna be of the
Being
gonna
a
be any.
reality TV star, chances are you're not going to be any of those things.
You're not gonna be any of those things. Any of those things. Any of those things. Chances are you are not gonna be you are not gonna be any of those things. Chances are you are not gonna be any of those things. Chances are you are not gonna be you are not gonna be any of those things.
The
The truth is,
being
being successful is
You
hard.
won't love every subject
You won't love every subject
that you study.
that you study.
You
You
won't
won't
click
click
with every teacher
that you
Not
have.
every
Not
homework
every homework assignment will seem completely relevant to your life right at this minute. And you won't necessarily succeed at everything the first time you try. That's okay. Some of the most successful people, some of the most successful people in the world, in the world.
First time you try. That's okay. Some of the most successful people in the world are
Some of the most successful people in the world are
the
the ones who
had
the ones who had the most failures. Some of the most successful people in the world are the ones who have who have that who have had who have had the most failures.
Jake, that's okay. Some of the most successful people in the world are the ones who've had the most
Who've had some of the most successful people in the world are the ones who had
failures.
the most failures.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Some of the most successful people in the world are
Some of the most successful people in the world are the ones who've had
the ones who've had the most
the
failures.
most failures. J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter. Her first Harry Potter book was rejected 12 times before it was finally published. Before it was finally
Harry Potter book was rejected 12 times before it was finally published.
before it was finally published.
Michael
Jordan
was cut from his high school basketball
Was cut from his high school basketball
team.
team.
He lost hundreds
He lost hundreds of games
of games
and missed
thousands of shots during his career.
But he once said, I have failed over and over and over and again in my life, and that's why I succeed.
that's why I succeed.
And that's why I succeed.
These people succeeded because they
Because these people succeeded because they understood
that
that you can't let your failures define you. You have to let your failures teach you. You have to let them show you
the next time.
what to do differently next time.
Your failures teach you. You have to let them show you what to do differently the next time.
What to do differently the next time.
So if you get into trouble,
So if you you get into so if you
you have to let them show you what to do differently the next time. So if you get into trouble,
so if you get into trouble so if you get into trouble so if you get into trouble
you have to let them show you what to do differently the next time. So if you get into trouble,
so if you get into trouble so if you get into trouble so if you get into trouble so if you get into trouble
that doesn't mean you're a troublemaker.
that doesn't mean you're a troublemaker.
It means you
It
need
means
to
you
try
need
harder
to try
to
harder.
act right. If
It
you
means you need to
doesn't mean you're a troublemaker. It means you need to try harder
it means you need to try harder
to act right.
to
If you
act
get a bad
right.
grade, that doesn't mean
If you get
it means you need to try harder to act right. If you get a bad grade,
if you get a bad grade a bad grade
that doesn't mean you're stupid.
that doesn't mean you're stupid.
It just means you need to spend more
It just means you need to spend more
time
you
studying.
spend more
No
time
one's
studying.
born
No one's born being good at all things. You become good at things through hard work. You're not a varsity athlete the first time you play a new sport. You don't hit every note the first time you sing a song.
You don't hit every note with hard work. You're not a varsity athlete the first time you play a new sport.
You played a new sport. You're not a varsity athlete the first time you play a new sport.
You don't hit every note the first time you sing a song.
You don't hit every note the first time you sing a song.
You've got to practice.
You've got to practice.
The
The same principle applies to your schooling. You might have to do a math problem a few times before you get it. You might have to read something a few times before you understand it. You definitely have to do a few drafts of paper. Few drafts of a paper before it's good enough to hand in. Don't be afraid to ask for questions. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. I do that every day. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. Because it shows you have the courage to admit when you don't know something. And that then allows you to learn something new. So find a adult that you trust, a parent, a grandparent, a teacher, a coach, or a counselor, and ask them to help you stay on track to meet your goals. And even when you're struggling, even when you're discouraged, and you feel like other people have given up on you, don't ever give up on yourself. Because when you give up on yourself, you give up on your country. The story of America isn't about people who quit when things got tough.
You give up on your country. The story of America isn't about people who quit when things got tough.
The story of America isn't about people who quit when things got tough. The story of America isn't about people who quit when things got tough.
It's about people who kept going.
It's about people who kept going, who tried harder, who loved their country too much to do anything less than their best. It's the story of students who said, when you sit 250 years ago and went on to wage a revolution, they founded this nation. Young people, students who said, where you sit 75 years ago, who overcame a depression and won a world war, who fought for civil rights and put a man on the moon. Students who said, where you sit 280 years ago, who won Google and Twitter and Facebook and changed the way you communicate with each other. So today, I want to ask one of you, what's your contribution want to be? And what problems are you going to solve? What discoveries will you make? So I expect all of you to get serious this year. I expect you to put your best effort into everything you do. I expect great things from each other. So don't let us down. Don't let your family down or your country down. Most of all, don't let yourself down. Make us all proud. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you. God bless America. 하겠습니다. 오늘 여기까지 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.